Welcome. We are exploring steps for compiling Vedic Mathematics references. Today, as step 12, our focus is upon the volume 4 of this project, which is to cover the mathematical domain of Sutra 4 and Sutra 4. Sutra 4 Pravartya Yojet and Sutra 4 Kevale Saptakam Gunyant are to be the source of the mathematical values. For it, we understand that volume 1, volume 2, volume 3 are there. We can presume that while we are at volume 4, then first 3 volumes are there. For it, we can say that while we are at number value 4, values 1, 2 and 3, these triple values are available to us. Here we see that this is the first composite number and it is of the organization 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 is equal to 2 cross 2 is equal to 4 into minus 2 cross minus 2 is equal to 4. Now, these three numbers are not composite numbers. Of these two are the primes, and it is a unique number which has no factor other than itself. Here it has a one factor as a proper factor, and another 2 itself is its own divisor. Here as well, likewise, 1 is a proper divisor and 3 also is a divisor. Here there is no proper divisor at all. Here is one proper divisor and one proper divisor. However, when we are at 4, we are having 1 and 2, a pair of proper divisors, and the third divisor is 4 itself. When we will be having attention as to this internal structure of number value 4 as comparison to the first triple numbers, then we can simultaneously have an idea as to how the volume 4 is to enter upon an absolutely distinct mathematical domain, though the initial 3 mathematical domains features are available. It is like this. We can say that to reach at 4, we will be having 1, 2, 3 and 4 steps. So, for value 4, first 3 steps are inherently available. However, the fourth step is absolutely distinctive. We know that the formulation Om is a composition of triple letters, and these 3 letters together constitute Om as the fourth distinct. Here the values are 1, 3 and 9, and here value is 16. This value is 13 and this value is 16. It is parallel to the Sutras and it is parallel to the Sutras. So this way we can see that the volumes in their seriatim are also simultaneously availing the formats of the sequential numbers. So the volumes and their sequential organizations take us to the formats and values. And so when we say at 1, we can say that we are at interval. When we are at 2, we can say that we are at square or a surface, and also we can say within this surface we can have a pair of steps of 1 and 2. So surface having line and a surface within it. A surface within a surface is going to be a concept which is to be absorbed, and likewise at 3 we will say that we are at a solid or a cube and a three-dimensional body, and within this three-dimensional body the first axis will lead us to a format of a line, the pair of axes will lead us to format of a square, and all the three axes will lead us to a format of hypercube 3 or hypercube itself. But when we are at 4, then the Upsutra is kevale, means only, saptkam, sevenfold, gunyat. So this value 7 is parallel to a cube, a three-space body. Three-space body is having 7 geometries range, and simultaneously when we are at the TCV sapt, it is equal to 14, and this 14 is of organization 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, and it is hypercube 4. That is, we are entering 4 space as a 4 space body, making available to us as a format. As such, let us be specific about the distinguishing features of volume 4. These distinguishing features of volume 4 over the prior 3 volumes can be sequentially reached at, firstly in terms of number value 4 itself, and then in terms of the formulation Om, and also in terms of the Sutra-4, where the formulation Sapt of TC values 14 leading us to hypercube 4. It is this reach from 3 space body to 4 space body. So it is 3 space body, it is hypercube 3, it is of a 4-fold manifestation layer, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 3 space as a domain leading to 7 geometries. There are 7 versions of hypercube 3. A step ahead is a 4 space body, hypercube 4. It is a 4 space body, it is H4, it is 2, 3, 4 and 5, and here the geometry's range is going to be 9. We know that Sutra 1, Eka Adhikain Purvain, means one more than the previous state. The previous state as a cube of 7 versions will lead to the next hypercube 4 state of 9 geometries range. See, the formulation Ekadhikain is having 9 letters and formulation Purvain is having 7 letters. This way we will see that while we will be at volume 4, though our focus will be centrally around Sutra 4 and Ganita Sutra 4, however, we have to be cautious as that the Ganita Sutra 1, the source of Sutra, is also sequentially unfolding itself, and this sequential unfolding of Sutra 1. Here a while would be a reach at volume 4 will be having its fourth unfolding, and this fourth unfolding would mean the first letter, then will be the second letter, third letter, and the fourth letter. So here focus will be upon letter Dha. Its TCV value is 7, and its value is 7, and the formulation Sapt is to lead us to value 14, which is the TC value of a Varg. So from a linear sequential state to a spatial sequential state is going to be the reach. So it is this reach at the fourth step of unfolding of the Ekadhikain Purvain is going to be the central reach of the sequential organization of the volumes of mathematical reference. Now let us see that Ekadhikain is leading us to values 6, 4, 2, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 1. Now these values, when are plotted, these will lead us to this parabolic. This 6, 4 and 2, and the fourth step is 7, then 2, 4 and 6. Here is a central fourth state. Here is value 7. It is a formulation Sapt. It leads us to TC value 14. It is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. It is hypercube 4. It is the representative regular body of a 4 space. So here this point, the value 7, because of a spatial order, gets value 14. And when we will reach from this orientation up till this reach, it will be first prior states would be 6, 4, 2 of summation value 2 parallel to the formulation Rishi. And when it reaches up till this stage, it becomes 6, 4, 2 and 7 of value 19, which is the value of a Chandas. However, when we are having here TC value duplicating state 14, then it will be 26, and this value is equal to the TC value of a Devata. So this orientation is to be transposed having a reverse orientation, and it is to be Yojet united. Therefore, while will be at volume 4, while will be at the mathematical domain of Pravartya Yojet, which has a simple rendering transpose and unite. This feature, this mathematical rule of volume 4 will be available for the previous sutras, including for Sutra 1. So in the reverse orientation, we will be working and chasing and reaching back. So from Sutra 1, we will be reaching Sutra 4 in terms of its fourth letter of TC value 7 of Dha, and the formulation Sapt leading us to TC value 14. It is called a spatial order. First we reach at this, and its second place we reach at this. And same way in the reverse, this parabolic setup of 6, 4 and 2 first limb, when is reaching here in origin seat, and because of origin seat there will be permissibility of reversal of an orientation, and so pravarte, and then it is to be united, to be unified. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. One should sit comfortably and see that the origin of 3 space is a seat of 4 space. The origin of cube is a seat of a 4 space. Means this center is of dual status as an element, as a point of 3 space, and also as a point of a 4 space. It is a point like any other point of the volume, but it is distinct as it is equally distant from the corner points. So this uniqueness of the center deserves to be comprehended well, as it is only in terms of it we will be having an opening, we will have a door for an entry within the domains. For this we'll see that 3 space is having a dimensional frame of 3 linear axes. However, we see that the origin being 4 space, a spatial order, so this 3-dimensional frame transits and transforms into a 3-dimensional frame of 3 spatial dimensions. It is this feature because of which in each of the corner points there is a 3-dimensional frame of half dimensions. So it is this feature of the split of a 3-dimensional frame into a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions which is to be attended. It is to be properly mathematized. It is to be worked out. It is to be chased, and this feature is going to be the central feature of the mathematical domain of volume 4, covering Pravartya Yojit and Kevalya Saptakam Gunyat. And this feature we know is interrelated and interconnected with the center of a cube, and these formulations which we have seen are of important. Here now we shall have a specific breakthrough from the linear to the spatial reach. Now the concept is of reversal of an orientation, +1 space and -1 space as dimension, as domain and dimension format with respect to the hypercube 1, a line. So we have to appreciate that our interval in fact is hypercube 1. It is a 4-fold setup where the 1 space is domain and -1 space is a dimension. It is this reversal of orientation concept which is different than addition in relation to the subtraction. Sutra 1 Eka Adhikain and Sutra 14 Eka Nyunain on the face of it may appear to be as if that Sutra 14 is redundant. However, when we will be appreciating that +1 as domain and -1 as a dimension, so there would be an absolutely different format altogether for +1 ekadike and -1 for eka. And also we know that the one space is creating 3 domain of 7 versions. It is this feature which will help us appreciate that the formulation Sapt is of value 14, and so the sutra at sutra number 14 and sutra at sutra number 1, Ekadhikain Purve and Ekanunen Purve, are of absolutely different mathematical domains. So here, why will be in volume 4, we have to remind ourselves frequently, and we have to remain throughout conscious of the fact that the reversal of orientation is not going to create any fuss. We have to maintain the distinctiveness of +1 and -1, Ganita Sutra-1 and Ganita Sutra-14. So when we say the format of Ganita Sutra-1 is interval, then we see that the format of Ganita Sutra-2 is that interval can be approached from its both ends, while in Ganita Sutra-1 we only go on sequentially progressing as if we have to proceed only from the one end. However, in Ganita Sutra-2 we have to approach the middle from both the ends. So the Ganita Sutra-1, though appears to be of infinitely long attainment range, however, while we will be at Ganita Sutra-2, we will be appreciating that the Ekadhikain Sutra in fact is covering only half interval. Let us have a pause here. Let us permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this feature, that the sequential progression in the form of n to n+1 is having coverage only of a half interval. Its non-appreciation is responsible for the modern mathematics axioms to reach at a contradictory situation as to everywhere continuous function being nowhere derivable. Now, when we will be reaching at Sutra 3, it is going to be Udharva Tiryag Bhyam. So, now the side will have a placement as an diagonal. So, this reach from the edge to the diagonal is a very big breakthrough. The mathematics of edge line is of a boundary, of a one space, but the diagonal is within a surface. So every point of a diagonal is a point fulfilled with the structure of two space surface, while every point of a line as an edge is fulfilled with the structures of a line only. So the point at a line is of distinct features than the point at the diagonal. It is now a step ahead when we will be seeing that the surface itself is not having only one face, it is having a pair of faces. So mathematics of surface of one face is of absolutely different features than that of a surface of pair of faces. as the surface of a pair of faces is having a placement within a 3 space. Now it is this feature which is going to be the central feature of the mathematical domain coverage by volume 4. So reflection, object and image relationship, reversal of orientation, and having a transposition from a line as an edge to a line as a diagonal, and then having a surface within a surface, having a solid within a solid, and step ahead having a spatial order 4 space within 4 space as Vyasti Samisti, as Chalna Kalna Bhyam, as Purna Apurna Bhyam, as Sankalan Vyakalan, or such big distinct mathematical domains that we have to remain alert, we have to be ever conscious, we have to be absolutely specific while dealing with a particular sutra, as the mathematical domain of each Ganita Sutra is a distinct mathematical domain. Therefore, the mathematics of Ganita Sutras as such is a mathematical domain which is a set of mathematical domains complementing and supplementing each other. However, the mathematical domain of each of the Ganita Sutras is of distinct features. It is this aspect which deserves absolute cautious attention. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with the Vedic systems, to be parallel with the Vedic mathematics, shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be specifically focused at each of the dimensional orders. Each dimensional order creates its own distinctive characteristic mathematical domain. So, the mathematical domain of linear order is a 3 space, mathematical domain of spatial order is a 4 space, mathematical domain of solid order is a 5 space, and like that is the organization, and like that is going to be the distinctive features of each of the volume of the Vedic Mathematics referencer and subsequently of Vedic Mathematics textbooks. Thank you very much.